Hello, welcome to An Abundance of Books. My name is Julia and welcome to our December readathon. We're doing the Reindeer readathon. Quick side tangent, it's so dark now. I know no one wants to talk about how it gets to be December and it's dark outside really early. It's played out, it's cliche, we get it, but like there's truly no light in this room, in this house, other than in this sphere that we are in right now. But this is our final readathon for the year of readathons, which has been very fun. I don't know if I'm going to keep it going next year, but I wanted to do something fun and Christmassy, and so I came across the Reindeer readathon from the Roomie's Digest. I will link their announcement video down below. This is one where there are teams and stuff. I'm not going to be doing any of that, but all of the prompts are based off of Santa's reindeer, and I thought, how cute, how fun, I must do it. Which means there are more than the regular like 5 books that I would go for. How many are there? 8 or 9? 9, right. Okay, so ready, I guess? The first prompt that we have is Dasher, and I had to do some homework for this one because here they give you a word search in the Google Doc that explains everything. I will link to their announcement and you can go look at it there. So I had to do a word search, and one of the first 4 words that I found had to be in the title of the book. So I did the word search, and the first 2 words that I found were box and hell, neither of which were valid. There's a list at the bottom of all the valid words. Neither of them were that. I also found man, which also doesn't count. And then I found storm, queen, peace, and the word that we're actually going to be going with, ironically, is just book. And the book that I'm going to be reading for that is Bookshops and Bonedust. I'm saying reading for this, I'm definitely not going to get to all 9 of these, but this does seem like a wintry pick for some reason. This is the sequel slash prequel to Legends and Lattes, and I believe it's about Liv going to a library or bookshop. My husband is currently reading this, and I have heard some guffaws out of him, so I'm anticipating a good time. Cat! The next prompt is for Dancer, and it is read a book with a title that has at least 5 words in it. And for that, I will read Midnight is the Darkest Hour by Ashley Winstead. I've been so excited to get to this, but I have been caught up in Goodreads Choice Awards stuff, so this wasn't nominated. I guess I understand because it only came out in November, I think, but I'm still disappointed this didn't make mystery, thriller, horror. I don't know which one it falls under category. This is my 3rd Ashley Winstead, and I'm incredibly excited. I believe it's about a religious cult. And vampires, maybe? Okay, I didn't know that. The next prompt is for Prancer. Read a book set in a place you have never been. What did I do for this? So this was more because I want to read this book and I think it would be good in the winter. It's The Hollow Place by Kingfisher. This is set in a taxidermy shop, and I do not believe I've ever been in a taxidermy shop slash museum. And it is also portal fantasy, and I have never been to a portal nor a magical realm, so forgive me. I've read Kingfisher here and there, but this sounds like it could be my perfect book, so I really hope that I get to it. The next prompt is for Vixen. Read a book that you've been putting off, and for this I chose Last to Leave the Room by Starling. It's not that I've been putting this book off, it's that I got an arc of it and it's been out for almost 2 months now. So I should be getting to it, and I don't remember what this is. I think it's something about alternate dimensions or clones, secret underground society. When I read the synopsis, it sounded really intriguing, and since it's a mystery thriller, I don't really want to reread it before going in, so yeah. The next prompt is for Comet, and it is to read a book that starts with the first letter of your astrological sign. I am an Aries, so I am going to be reading The Art Thief by Michael Finkel. This was one of Indigo's best books of the year or something, and it sounds really intriguing. This sort of nonfiction is always something that I'm really interested in. It kind of reminds me of The Feather Thief that I read a couple years ago and really enjoyed. So it's something about a famous art thief or something. I feel like it's been a minute since I've read a good nonfiction, so this seemed like a good one to put on the list. Then we have Cupid, read a book with multiple POVs, and I'm going to be reading One Day in December by Josie Silver. This is a romance with 2 POVs, and I have actually already read this. When would I have read this? Like 4 or 5 years ago, but I'm going to be doing a buddy read for this, so I'm excited to see if I still like it. I know that I read another Josie Silver after this and hated it, so that does make me cautious, also recommending this to other people, but I'm excited to see how much I remember too. This is about a, what would you call it? Like a missed connections. That's what they call it, right? About this woman who sees this man on a bus and their eyes lock and they're instantly in love, and then they can't find each other, and then years later find each other, and I think it takes place over the span of like 5-10 years, something like that. I remember being funny and heartfelt, and the ending was bad, like the very ending, but I still ended up really enjoying it. So we will see what a 5 years older Julia thinks of this. Then we have Donner, which is to read a book with multiple animals on the cover. I actually didn't have anything. Bookshops and Bonedust is the only thing kind of related, and it feels insulting to call these characters animals because they like talk and stuff. So what I'm going with instead is On a Sunbeam by Tillie Walden. There is only one animal on this cover. 'Tis a fish, but this is a graphic novel. So I think that's a good question. I actually didn't check if there would be other animals inside, but I'm sure there will be. There'll be lots of pictures. I heard this pitched on BookTube as lesbian boarding school in space, and I bought it immediately. That was like 1.5 years ago, so I should probably read it, and it's got a winter vibe to me for some reason. Maybe it's space, maybe it's academia, but I want to know. I know I'm not really a graphic novel girly, but I have to dip my toe in every once in a while just to see what's up. And I think if any graphic novel has a chance of working, it's lesbian boarding school in space. The next prompt is Blitzen. This is another one I had to do some pre-work for, so you're just gonna have to trust me. You have to roll a 6-sided dice, and depending on what number you get, you have to read a book with that times 100 pages minimum. I took it to Maureen, like if you roll a 1, you have to read a book that is like within the 100s. If you roll a 5, it's in the 500s. I rolled a 2, and I'm going to be reading In an Absent Dream by Seanan McGuire. This comes in at 204 pages. I don't believe that I've read A Wayward Children's this year. This is the 4th in the series, so I'd like to dip my toe back in before too long. And again, these just feel like wintry reads to me. Maybe it's the cover, maybe it's academia again, but this is about Eleanor West's School for Wayward Children. I think I got that right. And it's about kids who go to their equivalent of Narnia and come back and can't cope with being back in the regular world. I believe this is one set in the world. I think that's how it works. Every odd is at the school and every even is in their world. Yes, that is right. I actually don't know who we're following in this. Lundy. Lundy's the kooky one, right? She would rather dream than become a respectable housewife and live up to the expectations of the world around her. She finds the doorway into a world founded on logic and reason, riddles and lies, and thinks she's found her paradise. Alas, everything at the Goblin Market. Why is it always the Goblin Market? I have a fraud history with the Goblin Market. I just read it this year, and it's not even about a market. Not to knock this book, but I generally enjoy the Wayward Children series. It is not my go-to like it is for so many, but I think that they're nice and short, and that's what I want. And then we come to the man himself, the bros with the nose. I can come up with a better joke than that. The deer that's not all rear. No, that's too much of a thinker. What's like slang for nose? No, I guess that's as good as we're getting. Anyway, the prompt for Rudolph is to either read a book that came out before you were born or to read a book that came out in 2023. I'm going to be going with a book that actually hasn't even come out yet. I believe it comes out on the 5th, and that is This Spells Love by Kate Robb. And the reason that I want to read it is because I read You Again like 2 months ago, and in the back there's a conversation between our author Kate Goldbeck and Kate Robb. And both of them are just talking about like the inspiration of their book and what it's like to be an author and stuff. And I just love that conversation so much that I thought, yeah, I guess I'll just pick up the book that she's talking about. I have no illusions that it'll be anything like this. This is a When Harry Met Sally retelling. This Spells Love is a witchy romance, I think. Sliding doors from the cover, I assume. I briefly read the synopsis. It was also a book of the month pick, so that gives me hope that I will enjoy it. And that's it. Those are all the lads. They're all ready for Christmas. And those are all of the books that I'm going to read by the end. There's no way I'm going to read 9 books by the end of the year. At time of recording, I have read 78 books. My goal is 100, but I'm going to land somewhere in the 80s, and that's fine by me. And hopefully at least some of these will end up on that list as well. So thank you for joining me. If you enjoyed the year of readathons, please let me know. There is a playlist as always if you want to go back and watch all of them. It'll be here forever, and then there'll be a vlog later in the month. I don't know what I'm planning to do for Christmas. Oh, and now the cat's cleaning his butt. That is my cue to go. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you very soon in another video. Goodbye.